Look around everywhere in confusion. In our small island, even at United Nations. World leaders, oh yes, I'm afraid to say, taking us closer to destruction every day. Oh yes, corruption breeding corruption is the talk all about. Dissatisfaction in government and policies is a common shout. Hatred, envy and spite, I say, has now become the order of the day. Oh yes, well look, the forces of evil acting today, trying to get us down in every way. So we got to stand up for what is right. That's right, drive evil deeds from the darkness onto the light. And billions, let's pray for the land. Walk hand in hand. A house divided against itself cannot stand. Collectively pray, everyone, and work with a plan. Let me drive all evil deeds from the land. Right around here in our country, there are 10 situations you can really see. Opposition opposing every move government made, opposing everything just for opposition's sake. We see a system where our people slowly lose the right to think, and most of all the freedom to choose. In a regrettably so-called tourist industry, workers are fired without warning, without mercy. So you see, hungry mothers with their children to feed, trying desperately to fulfill their needs. A high price of survival we have to pay. Oh yes, evil force is increasing every day. And billions, let's pray for the land. Walk hand in hand. A house divided against itself cannot stand. Collectively pray, everyone, and work with a plan. Let me try. Afghanistan, in South Africa, victimization and oppression. Remember Grenada just the other day. A military junta destroy all that stood in its way. Oh yes, the world is standing on the brink of disaster, and may well soon end if our hungry leaders continue along this trend to pressurize people to satisfy their selfish needs, holding on to power at the expense of those they bleed. We pray that the forces of evil now stand in our way, creating heavier burdens every day, may very soon diminish from our sight. That's right, bringing brightness where once there was night. Come, pastors, pray for the land. Walk hand in hand. A house divided against itself cannot stand. Collectively pray, everyone, and work with a plan. Let me drive all evil deeds from the land. Come, pastors, pray for the land. Walk hand in hand. A house divided against itself cannot stand. Collectively pray, everyone, and work with a plan. Let me drive all evil deeds from the land.
Sounds of the King Ginger. Sorry, King Ranger, the man Lord Ranger. It says we got to drive the evil out of our beloved Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. I'm DJ Maurice and I'm coming to you live and direct from my bunker here in the Republic of St. Paul, St. Kitts. Yes, I'm still here in the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis doing my thing. And this evening, folks, is going to be a very interesting evening. Lots to speak about, lots of discussion. Look forward to your input. But before we get into all of that good stuff, I know weekly this program has been growing by leaps and bounds, and there are folks trolling the web trying to find out what DJ Maurice is up to. So let's take a quick listen to this ad so that the folks would understand what to expect this evening.
Wednesday evenings are heating up. Log on to DJ Mauritius Facebook Live broadcast every Wednesday evening from 6 to 8 p.m. It's a frank and candid exploration into the social, cultural, political, and economic issues affecting our federation. And just in case you missed it, you can also catch the broadcast on his YouTube channel, DJ Mauricio. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube and smash that bell. You will be notified whenever he goes live. DJ Mauricio, every Wednesday evening, Facebook 6 to 8 p.m. or thereafter on his YouTube channel, DJ Mauricio. Log on.
Yes, you heard it right. DJ Mauricio is here each and every Wednesday evening from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. SKN time, St. Kitts Nevis time. So you just come on and log in and give your input. But before we get any further into the program this evening, let's see what Brother Carbo is cooking over there on the Nevis end.
Cabos, located at Fountain Village in Nevis, is the go-to spot for your Saturday treats. Tantalize your taste buds with his delectable Cabos Delicacy Goat Water. Or, if you prefer some soul food, then Cabos Fungi and Fish is definitely the way to go. Call ahead and reserve at 869-663-9694. Then make your way over to Cabos and enjoy the vibrant atmosphere while you savor your delicacy. Cabos, we are not changing, we are only improving.
Food all over, food all over, you got the food all over.
Yes, you heard it right. Carbo has the food all over Nevis. And just the same in St. Kitts, because you can now order your food and Carbo will have it delivered to you hot and spicy, just as you like it. Let's hear what Sister Carmen have to say there to the good people of St. Kitts.
Girl Sanja, you know where you can find nice fresh local food 7 days a week, one provision and all kind of thing. Girl, where? Right down there by Shellings, by Carmen Catering Services. Girl, she opposite the bus stop. Girl, and she also cater for weddings, parties, anything you want to cater for, funeral and all. Girl, and trust me, you're gonna enjoy the food. And she also selling bites and Sundays. Opposite the car shop, right down the main road. Girl, you could call 665-1494 or 663-6005 to order your food or go and pick up your food. Girl, the food that is finger licking and you get your money worth. You ain't want nothing better than that.
For sure, as usual, Sister Carmen asks that I thank those supporters that been checking her there in the Boyd's Village on Sundays. Food sell off every Sunday. If you don't order in advance, you might not stand a chance to get nothing to eat. So reach out to Sister Carmen and let her know you'll be checking on Sunday. But Monday through Saturday, she's there in Charlene, right across from the West Ferry Terminal in downtown Bastia. On Sundays, she's there in Boyd's Village from noon until about 5. By 2, 3 o'clock, she's sold out. So try and get there early. Let's take a quick listen to my boy, Brother Daniel there in Nevis, give you some strategy.
Welcome to Strategies for Business Success, right here on 2020visionradio.com and on 102.1 FM with business development advocate Daniel Arthurton. Each week, Danny will build on a foundation to ensure your success in business. Being in business can be daunting, and Strategies for Business Success can help you avoid the pitfalls. Join Danny right here on 2020visionradio.com, on 102.1 FM, and on your other social media platforms every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. That's right, Tuesday evenings at 7 p.m. The time and place for your business dreams to come true.
Yes, check my boy Danny there. Nevis, the #1 farmer there. Just check him out that DJ Marisha sent you. Now let's take a quick listen to what my boy, Brother Malvern Gums of the Spectrum Band there in St. Thomas, Virgin Islands, have to say about the DJ.
Hey, this is Malvern from Spectrum Band, and you're listening to DJ Marisha, playing you the best in Caribbean music.
You got that?
Hey, this is Malvern from Spectrum Band, and you're locked into DJ Marisha. Keep it locked.
Right there, don't you move that dial. And my good people, this evening, there's so much to discuss that I don't want to skip the beat. We're about 3 minutes onto the 6 o'clock hour. So I'm going to take you right into Brother Dwyer Astafan's commentary so that when I let loose this evening, there is nothing to slow us up. So, Brother Dwyer's commentary right about now.
Greetings. A few weeks ago, I gave a commentary in anticipation of the upcoming budget speech. I want to follow up on that today and to let you know that this will either be our last or second last commentary for the year. It's time for the Carnival and Christmas activities to fill the air, and God spare life, I shall return in early January. The annual budget provides us with a picture of the last year and with a blueprint for the year to come. A key document in the process is the report of the Director of Audit. We are preparing the budget speech now for 2025. In the budget speech, the minister will speak about happenings in this year and forecast for next year. But in the report of the Director of Audit, we get a clinical outline of the government's performance in the year 2023. And so when next year comes, this time around, it'll be the same. The budget will reflect on 2025 and forecast for 2026. And the report of the Director of Audit will give an account of what happened in 2024. That's how it works. But the point is, the report of the Director of Audit is an extremely important document. And I recommend that you get copies and you read it. Now, sometimes administrations can obtain appropriation warrants to get more money than what they had budgeted for. For example, the budget for the year 2022 was to spend $952 million. But it turns out that that was not enough for the Harris administration. So they went and got themselves, through appropriation warrants, an additional $432 million. Now, $432 million as a percentage of $952 million is nearly 40% increase and to make a 40% appropriation on top of what you've budgeted for a year suggests that either something disastrous, calamitous, massive, that had not been prepared for has struck, or it might suggest poor governance. As far as I recall, there was no such incident in 2022. What there was an election. I can see an appropriation for 10 to 15% above budget, but near to 40% is very, very troubling. And those who caused that to happen must be called to account by you, because it is your money that was used. And if that is not a lack of simple foresight, basic management, if that is not a sign of recklessness and irresponsibility of the worst order, and with your money, no less, then if you do not have cause for grave concern about that and about those who made that happen, then I don't know what's going to become of you and the rest of us. And to confirm their absolute unfitness to govern the financial and other affairs of the country. In spite of the 952 and the 432 million, in spite of receiving $669 million from the CBI alone in 2022, the Harris administration nevertheless ran up a deficit of $107 million. How could that have happened? What was the money spent on? What do you have to show for it? What kind of governance is that? Remember, 2022 was an election year. Did they spend your money like drunken sailor men? And at the same time that Dr. Harris was preparing his 2022 budget in late 2021, he and his colleagues were approving the Galaxy Jail project. And in the process of doing so, he signed away the government's rights to escrow and the people's rights, your rights, to a fair and proper share of the earnings of that project. The projected revenue for 2022 should have been at least $3.5 billion instead of $1 billion, as stated before. And the revenue from CBI alone should have been about $2.5 billion, not $669 million. So with all of that, there should never have been any need to appropriate an additional $432 million to fund government operations. That needs an explanation. And if this is not a fiscal and governance nightmare, then please tell me what is. That was like putting Stevie Wonder to guard the bank for you. But the nightmare was not restricted to the government's central accounting. Under the Harris regime, SCASPA's debt skyrocketed to over $100 million. The development bank's debt skyrocketed to $335 million. $135 million of which is to the Social Security Board. You know whose money is in the Social Security Fund? Your money. Did they get your permission to borrow $135 million from Social Security? Did you know anything about that? Other than being told by people like myself and others? And he allowed the NHC debt to climb up to $12 million. Leaders are human and are expected to make mistakes. But these acts were reckless, irresponsible, and political self-serving, and in the extreme, unforgivable, and rendering Dr. Harris and those around him eternally unfit to hold public office or to take responsibility for the public purse. He did damage to you that with luck will take generations to repair. And with these facts established, it is not fair to judge the Drew administration without fully understanding the financial and fiscal problems which Dr. Drew inherited just 2 years ago. Some of you seem to have forgotten that the Development Bank almost crashed and would have crashed had the government not changed. Some of you seem to have forgotten or taking it lightly that the Galaxy Jail project plunged the CBI almost into extinction, with receipts free falling from nearly $670 million in 2022 to possibly under $250 million in 2024. All because of the underselling of the Galaxy Jail project, authorized and encouraged by the Harris administration. And think of the near fatal reputational damage done to our country as a result. And considering this loss of hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue, looking at it from what happened in 1 year alone, 2022, plus the loss from the bad jail project, which is costing you over $2 billion. All of this must affect what the present administration do, what kind of money they have or do not have to carry out projects that are necessary. Think of what all of that money could have done for the economy and for you, had it been available to the Drew administration. Now, I'm not holding any brief for the Drew administration, but the facts are the facts. However, he is at the steering wheel and he has a lot of work to do. He is responsible. He needs to recover potentially, and he can, a total of about $2 billion from these law-breaking jail applicants. And he needs to get rid of the poor performers, the lightweights, the underminers and news carriers, and some of the advisors and envoys from the positions that they hold. They are a bad investment, and they are hurting you economically and hurting him politically. But does he have the courage of conviction to, as the song says, get rid of them? Great leaders are willing to face political fallout in order to achieve great things. Having said that, and despite the fact that Harris caused this disastrous drop in revenue from the CBI, Dr. Drew has been able to do some very good things for the people. For example, he raised the minimum wage. He made auxiliary workers pensionable. He introduced a salary increase for public servants. He introduced a program whereby seriously ill children in need of medical attention that's not locally available and beyond their financial means would be assisted by the government to go overseas and get that medical attention using public money. He introduced the Aspire program, He saved the development bank. Yes, he did. He helped to shore up Social Security, which was being bled. He provided significant additional medical equipment and specialists to the health sector. He lowered student loan rates and a number of other things. And when some of you try to dismiss these things or say that the hospital and the Bastia High School have not been completed, I ask you, do you think it might have been different if all of that money of yours that the former administration, by the terrible leadership, caused you to miss out on, if all of that money had been available, do you think these questions would have been asked about hospital and Bastia High School and other things? Whose fault is it that the money did not reach you? That said, I have to hold the leader, Dr. Drew, accountable to collect from the law-breaking jail project applicants and to take appropriate action against Galaxy and every other person who wrongfully benefited from that notorious project, referred to by an official as a good scam. Now, some of you argue that raising the minimum wage was neutralized by price increases, and that is true. But most of you want to wait for the government to act and agitate for you against higher prices, and so on. But I don't see any of you protesting outside some of these business places or encouraging others to boycott. Why do we like to leave everything to the government? Why do we like to get everything we want from the government? And what do we put in? It's not fair if you want to get something out and you're not putting anything or enough in, you know. Having said all of that, Dr. Drew needs to impose strict price control, and not only on basic food items, but also on other necessities. And there's a particular problem in our food sector because it is essentially dominated by a single player. And that does not bode well for a free and fair market. This is a major problem in our commercial and economic space, and it needs to be remedied. Monopolies and free markets do not live well together, and monopolies hurt the consumers and choke out small aspiring business people. That has to be addressed. I believe also that tariffs and the method of calculating VAT have to be revisited in order to bring further relief and more spending power to consumers. And some of you argue that the 8% increase to public servants is not fair because parliamentarians voted themselves a 30% increase in their own pay. That is not a correct and fair response. Public servants have been getting regular increases over the years, while the last previous increase given to parliamentarians was in 2005, 19 years ago. And if you calculate the increases for the public servants on the one hand and for the parliamentarians on the other, between 2005 and now, you will see that there's virtually no difference. It is just that parliamentarians got 2 increases in 19 years, while the rest of the public service got about 7, if I recall correctly. So we need to stop playing politics with all of this stuff. We need to stop trying to fool off people with it. Politicians in the opposition who are trying to rile up people on matters like this, for which they themselves have no solution, need to stop the cheap politics, because illusion, delusion, and deception by politicians lead to their own downfall ultimately. And speaking of politics, the opposition has been saying time and again that things are hard. And things are hard. But at the same time, they are demanding a double salary for public servants this month. How irresponsible and reckless and dishonest can that be? Now, the government handouts that had been started under Douglas and the social safety nets are important. But they must be kept to a minimum in terms of dollars spent, in terms of time for people to be involved in these incubator programs, and in terms of the number of people involved. You're talking about thousands of people in this microeconomy. We are encouraging and perpetuating poverty and dependency, not enterprise and independent-mindedness that cannot bode well for the future. And the budget address needs to concentrate on these very fundamental things if we are to achieve anything and to achieve sustainable development going forward for the next 50 years. Douglas started the PEP program, I don't remember what the name was, yes, in 2009. Dr. Harris continued it. He added PAP and Peace, and in one form or with one name or the other. These programs continue today. There are people who have been in these programs for the last 15 years. In this whatever you want to call it. Programs which should be short-term or at worst medium-term have become permanent programs for those who are put on it. Bleeding government's revenue, that's your money, and adding little to productivity. We are not getting the return on investment. Too much burden and too little benefit for the nation. How can that be sustained? And how can it not be a prime, if not the prime, issue in fiscal, financial, and economic planning for the country? In other words, in the budget. All of this was inherited by the Drew administration. Dr. Drew inherited a culture of irresponsibility, entitlement, dependency, underproductivity, disrespect, lawlessness, and brutishness. Have you noticed how many of us don't want to work, or don't want to work hard, or to persevere, but we want to get paid as if we are neurosurgeons because the money is there. We want to reap where we have not sown. How could that be right for the rest of us who are sowing and somebody else who is not sowing getting a significant portion of the reaping? Yes, some people will always need help, but not 3,000 and 4,000, not in a country like this. Have you noticed the growing physical and social squalor? The lack of civic consciousness and patriotism? The evaporation of values? Have you noticed how many of us have $4,000 phones? Even school children. We are always on the phones. And how much nonsense we communicate to each other on the phones. And how increasingly ignorant we are of the things that really matter and of the things that we need to know. Despite the easy access to so much information, despite the frequent use of the channels of communication, ignorance grows. How could a country that is becoming more ignorant, and is said respectfully, ignorant means a lack of knowledge, how could a country that is becoming more ignorant also become more prosperous? Have you noticed how many of us love to jump up and fet in the rain, but are not willing to buy an umbrella to go to work or to walk through a brief drizzle? All of these things are symptoms of our country's major problem. A problem that started in the 80s and rages today like a stage 4 or 5 cancer. And Dr. Drew is now faced with the task, the unforgivable and potentially unpopular task of fixing this problem. If he doesn't, we are doomed. Here is my point. The effort to remedy this problem needs to be reflected in the content and intent of the budget. I've advocated for cutting down the number of work permits, but employers keep complaining about the work ethic of our people. Every day, home and business owners complain about the approach and the attitude of local workmen and workwomen. Bad attitude. Bad attitude can't create good country. All of these things and the strategy to deal with them have to be reflected in the budget. The budget needs to show us in its narrative and intent that our leaders understand these fundamental challenges, are committed to the sustainable and long-term development of our people, are well aware of the fact that it is not possible to attain sustainable and long-term development and true and social economic independence with the present attitude and mindset of our people and our politics. The budget must show that our leaders have the understanding and the courage to address these issues, these most fundamental issues, face on. Otherwise, we're wasting our time. Now is no time for personal, political self-preservation. Now is the time to stop the political pandering and the culture of mediocrity, because that leads us to a destiny of inevitable collective failure. It is time to change the country, and change requires strong, visionary leaders of character and reasonable willing followers. So, Mr. Prime Minister, Mr. Minister of Finance, let us hear the budget address. Let us hope that members engage altruistically and responsibly in debating the issues, rather than engaging in narrow, dumbing down, silly, self-promoting nonsense. I'm waiting.
Yes, my good people, that is the commentary for today from my brother there, the man J.A. Dwyer Astafan. Kind of lengthy, some 25 minutes, 58 seconds, but very informative. And I want to thank Dwyer for bringing this commentary weekly. As he said in this commentary, this might very well be the last one for 2024, but he can try squeezing one for me next week. So Dwyer, I hope you do the latter. Squeeze in one final one for me next week, and let's finish off the year in good standing and give the people the information that they so desire. My kitchen and division at home, regionally and internationally in the diaspora. I realize that for whatever reason, some of us are lost in the melee and not the facts. When DJ Marisha come here on a Wednesday evening, DJ Marisha don't come here for likes, love, or to be popular with any particular group. I come here to bring you the facts and hope that we have a civil conversation about the facts. And over the last couple of weeks, been digging deep, have some associates digging for me as well. As you know, in this kind of business, you cannot do it on your own. You gotta have a good engineer. Engineer like guys like man Ike out of Trinidad and Tobago. I want to thank Ike for doing a good job keeping me online for the past 4 years. I want to thank the people of TNT. Sister Beverly, good evening. I hope all is well with you. You guys in Trinidad and Tobago have some serious talent. Keep up the good work. You know, and my nephew there, Glenville Lawrence, for his weekly clips that he keep bringing for me. There are some folks locally here in the Federation as well that assist me in some areas, but I refrain from calling their names because people have a way of sabotaging people, bad mouthing people, getting people into problems. So to avoid any backlash for the people here in the Federation, I just leave it at that. But I have a great team of individuals that continue to do what they can to keep the flames burning here. But I cannot help but acknowledging, you know, from 2020, out of the bellies, out of the guts of my quarantine there at Royal St. Kitts. This is where this program was born. And as you guys are aware, this program was supposed to be just some 14 days to keep myself busy and give some updates and the process for folks who had planned to travel into the Federation for quarantine, what to expect, that they don't get the surprise like I got. But following my quarantine and I was about to give up this podcast, many of you online viewers sight fit to reach out to me and ask me, please, not to do that, as the facts and the information that I presented was very informative, unlike any other in the Federation, regionally or internationally. So I pride myself on doing right by the people, not because I may support a political candidate. I should stifle the facts, spin the truths. No, I'm not going to do that. As I've said time and time again, who want to tie me into a political party is fine, but I cannot do party politics because for me, wrong is wrong. I cannot support something that is going to affect the country and affect the people of this beloved federation. I have enjoyed the hard works of the people that came before me, benefited from it. If you travel around St. Kitts, Brimstone Hill, and other areas, you could see many people dying building these areas for us now to enjoy, and we come and we're taking it for granted. And these new set of politicians, you see, make the greed and the corruption is what they drive them. You know, they don't think about the people and the country. When they're campaigning, they tell you for the good that we can do. They give you all the nice words that you want to hear. But the actions tells us a different thing. And with that, I want to really thank you folks that been meeting me and the byways in the offices, wherever you see me, and encouraging me to continue. Because sometimes when I listen to the ignorance out of some people, whether it's on this program, on radios, or on the street, I kind of get downhearted, wanting if our people are that dumb, are we that uneducated? Are we going to make Ian Patty's liable to be right when he said, giving a common sense test, 98% of us will fail it? These are a lot of things that pop up in my head. And it takes me into the situation that I cannot get away from, my good people. This CBI funding, these millions, these billions, these trillions, I can call some of the numbers them, that have passed through this federation over the last several years. And let's go back. I will not even go back as far as the former Prime administration under Simmons. Let's start in 1995 under Douglas. Through the former Prime Minister there, Harris, and now this current government. Is some serious money came to St. Kitts. And if I am to believe these numbers, and I have to believe them, because I'm seeing documentation to prove it. Why today, small businesses, our citizens are still struggling so much? Taxi drivers, bus drivers, schools, daycares, homes. Why are our citizens struggling while the one or two people have the offshore account with all these millions and billions? And then we got our little citizens who run out of the federation to make ends meet because they can't handle the pressure here. They want a better life. Some run to Anguilla, St. Martin, the Virgin Islands, New York, the UK, Canada to get a better life because they can't handle the pressure that they're getting here. But while they're overseas, while the house is here burning, instead of them trying to help throw water on the fire, they're telling you to support this party and support this politician and stop complaining. I look at some information this week, and you know, it's criminal. It's nothing less than criminal. There are many people out there struggling to make a little dollar who have degrees, who have common sense. They finished school, they have not worked as yet. Some came back from overseas without having a job. And you're going to have one individual have big job in government, but yet there are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 board getting paid, while you got people in the federation not even getting a dollar, not getting a job and struggling. Factories are closing down. And when you speak, these same people getting upset with you. But when the fight was real to change government, they was not even there. There's a particular gentleman. He used to ask me what I think about Prime Minister Joe, how he doing and stuff like that. And I used to say to him, basically, I made a commitment to give the government 2 years to get their act together. I will do my review following 2 years. And just last week, I saw the gentleman, and I know he's involved, and I know he's benefiting from government. And I asked him the same question he asked me, his views. But all of a sudden, he don't know anything. He don't understand my question. As a matter of fact, he's asking me if I believe Dr. Joe is corrupt. I mean, why would I think Dr. Joe is corrupt? Do I have an opinion on certain things that Dr. Joe is doing that I would do differently? I hope he will do differently. The answer is yes. But that doesn't make him corrupt in my view. There's a RICO case that is filed by the MSR gentleman, Mr. Martinez. And I have said it publicly and I will continue to say it. I personally say thanks to Mr. Martinez and the MSR team for bringing this CBI conversation into the mainstream, into the public domain for conversation. Why? Because during the 2022 campaign of the federal election, I can recall well the Labour candidates and many other supporters was beating the then Team Unity, the then Prime Minister Harris, demanding to know the status of the CBI, how much passports sold, where the money and all this kind of stuff. That was the question. Amongst other things like the electoral office, fake marriages and all of these stuff. A lot of things was campaigned upon. But when you try to get information about our CBI and the sugar money, the SIDF, you couldn't get an answer. And I expected personally that when government change, which is what we campaigned for, we say, let's get rid of them because we don't want this corrupt behavior, this secrecy, this thieving. Let's get rid of them. The Labour administration get in there. They start doing their investigation. And I hear Prime Minister Joe come and talk some things about money missing from development bank, some 100 fake marriages, amongst other things. But it's midterm, almost 2.5 years. I ain't hear nobody get charged for these crimes. Will anybody ever get charged for these crimes? All I'm hearing is talk. Talk is cheap. We need some actions. We need some answers to what's going on out there. So, with every time a question is asked and Prime Minister Joe referring you to the CIO office, back then it was Mikey Martin. I do not know if since my brother there, Blanchett, is there, if anything changed. But it was always a referral. You never get a straight answer. If wasn't for Mr. Martinez and the MSR lawsuit, I don't think we would have gotten the information that we are getting now. Nothing will be in the public square. And I'll go a step further, because this is my view. I could be wrong. So you folks online, if you think I am wrong, you can correct me. But even with the lawsuit that was filed in regards to the CBI and whatever was going on and the whatever prison project and stuff like that, if wasn't for the bad decision of the former prime minister and the other individuals that was sued, challenging Mr. Martinez, suing him for defamation of characters, where he now was able to get leverage to get their bank information through a court order in the US, we still would not know a lot of things that we don't know. So for those of you who want to throw Mr. Martinez over the gut or to throw him in the pit and stone him, I think you all owe Brother Martinez a debt of thanks for bringing this matter to light and try to save our federation, you know. Because the way I look at it is like a little bad boy club when they get into government, you know. Everybody just sit in their little cabinet or the little corner and share up whatever they have to share up, and you take a little bit and give me a little bit, whatever. The poor people suffer. A lot of things that, in my view, got Dr. Joe, Prime Minister Joe, occupied trying to out the fire, trying to defend the country, is the bad actors that has done their nonsense to us. And as I said, hadn't Mr. Martinez do what he had to do, we would not know what we know today. So here we are. A couple of weeks ago, I came across some information that, in my view, could have caused some embarrassment for the Prime Minister and for the country and put us in a bad light locally, regionally, and internationally. And as I said back then, I always have my ears pierced to the ground. And there are many people that watch this podcast around the globe who have reached out to me, told me that they respect me, they appreciate me, the honesty that I bring to the people. So naturally, they bring information to me. And based on the information I was getting, it at the time seems to be some serious things coming down the pike for our Prime Minister, for Dr. Douglas, and for the country, including Timothy Harris as well. I was more concerned about the country and to find out if Prime Minister Joe really went into government after we spoke. I'm going to go there and make the same mistake as these former prime ministers. That was my concern. So I reached out to Prime Minister Joe to get him in contact with the individual that they could give him the information directly. I don't want to be the middleman passing any information and then I say things I didn't say. So I wanted them to meet in person. After not hearing from Prime Minister Joe, and I know he's busy traveling across the globe doing his thing, I reached out to his advisor, his top advisor, Mr. Rollins, and explained to Mr. Rollins the urgency, and I put him in contact with the individual. Based on the information that I had, which was nothing compared to really what was going on, I really expected a little courtesy and a little more active, aggressive move to try and arrest the situation that I was hearing. But it seemed like it was a game being played. It's like a chess game that was being played. But this chess game now is becoming ahead Because as the weeks progress, DJ Marisha has information that you, the regular general public, does not have. And when you're going to have politicians that have the facts and going to be misleading you, the general public, and certain facts, it does not sit well with me. Because when I supported Prime Minister Joe and his new administration, I expect to get a difference to what was there. And all I am asking for, and will continue to ask for, you don't have to give me no medal. Give the medal to the people that are not working, because that's what you all do annually. Don't give me any medal. But just do right by the people and by the country. Because look at where we are today. Based on some information I was looking at earlier, according to Mr. Martinez's claim, passport or citizenship was undersold based on that prison project. And it's spiraling into a mess. I have clips in my archive where I heard Mr. Martinez said that he reached out to Dr. Drew prior to him becoming Prime Minister to let him know that this criminal activities was taking place. He have spoken to him since he became Prime Minister, and nothing has been done to arrest this situation. But there's a document I said today where Mr. Martinez requests to reevaluate some of these bad actors that was lucky enough to get our certificates of citizenship and passport under the legal limit, was to reach out to them, ask them to come in, get their due diligence done, and verify. Well, you're going to tell me now that after all the fighting over the last couple of weeks, where they even create an AI circulating, trying to discredit Mr. Martinez, Dwyer Astafan, and Mr. Benter, after going through all of that, creating a havoc amongst you, the citizens, I am seeing now that they're reaching out to people who got our passport and our citizenship, telling them that they need to provide these information by the 31st of December. If not, they will revoke their citizenship. This should have been done from day one. We would not be where we are today, fighting. We knew you did not cause a problem, Prime Minister Joe, and I've said this to you. We know you did not cause this problem. Are you going to lay this issue of the prison project at the feet of Timothy Harris? Because during the campaign, that is one of the things that Timothy campaigned on, you know. He said Douglas could not find a way to build this prison. And because of his skill and his knowledge and everything he got, he's the best Prime Minister. He came up with this prison project and a way to fund it. So Timothy can't back away now from this mess that he created. I will not allow him to back away now. You present it as a rosy, nice little package deal because you all did not expect a shining armor, a gold spoon for the people of St. Kitts in the likes of Mr. Martinez. Because had Mr. Martinez get what he wanted and did not sound this alarm, we would not have the information that we have now. You all will continue to sell the citizens. You all will continue to sell us down the drain. When we find out, it might have been after we dead, our grandkids, our great-grandkids have to pay the price. So I cannot join with you guys trying to criminalize or kill Mr. Martinez. I have heard people talking about they check his background and there's nothing on file that he was convicted of fraud. Listen, people convicted of all kind of crime and their files get expunged. I don't have any concern about Mr. Martinez's past, his criminal past. because we have a bunch of criminal in parliament right here in St. Kitts and Nevis. The only problem is we are not prosecuting them, we are paying them. We are not charging them, we are giving them opportunity to thief as much as they can. It appears as though criminality is what it takes to become a politician in St. Kitts and Nevis. You know, if you got a criminal mind, you can be elected in St. Kitts and Nevis. If you have a good heart, you don't stand a chance. Because I am of the view, when I look at the candidates, the 8 candidates that Labour put forward in the last general election, when I listen to them speak, when I dealt with them one-on-one, I see some genuine individuals, serious individuals, ready to take on the world to defend this federation. Somewhere along the line, between August 6th of 2022 and present, something went wrong. Because the amount of shit that is taking place, and nobody wants to call it for what it is, at every level, from the government down to their functionaries, the place is in a mess. You got some of them working in government headquarters, getting their hefty salary monthly. They have taxi driving, going down to the port Zante when cruise ships are there, jumping the line to take away bread from some people that all they have is that taxi to drive. The only income they have is that little taxi car, the little bus or whatever, to make ends meet for their family. But some of them have 2 and 3 vehicles, trying in the pool, taking bread out of people's mouth who don't have a second opportunity. And this is okay to some people. That is okay to some people. I asked the Prime Minister a question early o'clock. As the Prime Minister and you're addressing the nation, why are you going to Freedom FM and other stations to address the nation when you have the nation have its own media outlet in the likes of ZIZ Radio and Television? The response at the time was ZIZ equipment and setup and whatever was not adequate. Well, you're going to tell me you're all there for 2.5 years. Well, 2 years and some, Mr. Prime Minister. You guys have appointed a board for 2 and some years. They're getting a salary. But even up to now, 2 years later, they cannot put things in place at ZIZ where the government information service go through the state radio and television and let the other media outlets pick up a feed. And DJ Maurice is supposed to sit back, laugh with you, smile about it because it's okay? No, I have a problem with it. We need to invest in our people. There are people here in this federation that is capable of doing the work at ZIZ to improve technically, physically, and otherwise. We have the same old machineries who don't have a clue, who is out of vision, they don't have no vision. You put them on board just for what? To give them a couple of dollars? For what? Whenever the Prime Minister is going to speak or any parliamentary coming out of the government side, it should be going through ZIZ, radio and television, and then the other areas pick it up. You're going to a round table. Round table where? You're going to go to Freedom FM, you're going to go to Win FM, you're going to go to Van Radio. Those supposed to be subsidies that pick up from the main feed at ZIZ, Mr. Prime Minister. So I'm going to go on and on and on, and I'm going to go around the table because I told you last week, the round table them you're having these days, to me, they're square tables. Because I'm not following the conversation anymore, Mr. Prime Minister. I support you wholeheartedly, and nobody going to change that. But nobody going to shut me up either. Not a soul going to shut me up. As a matter of fact, I know you support the young lady there in Barbados very much. So I want you to hear what her message was to her people in Barbados. And this is my message to you, our Kitishans.
The voices of accountability. This beacon encourages every Bajan to speak up and take responsibility when they see something going wrong in this country, in their community, in their houses, in their jobs. It embodies the idea that accountability isn't just for leaders, but for every citizen. Tanya Stevens reminds us of corruption in high and low places only to remind us that because we have a colonial mentality, we see only the oppression that is above us and not the oppression that is among us. Creating a culture of silence in the face of patent wrongdoing is not just acceptable, it is dangerous and it is destructive. And speaking up respectfully and, more importantly, speaking truth becomes a civic duty of every citizen of this country and everyone who chooses to want to live among us, even though not a citizen. This applies, my friends, to whether we're talking about what happens in our home, our workplace, the church, the community, or even the block, especially the block. There is nothing to be gained through remaining silent when we know better. And to say it shoulda, it coulda, I didn't. Regret cannot be the platform to this country's stability, harmony, or prosperity.
So my good people, as I speak to you guys this evening, I dropped that clip, because I know some people out there are burning upset with me. Because when I speak truth to power, I speak truth to power and they do not like it. And I'm coming back to you guys because for the life of me, my good people, we are here and we're thinking Christmas is coming, sugar mass, people trying to find money to pay for costume they don't have, people crying to the government to pay double salary or give some $1,000 dividend. The problem with these things is that these funds are not reaching every citizen in the Federation, and I've been saying that. I need to see this administration, Prime Minister Joe administration, find a way to touch every citizen as much as possible when it comes to the financial assistance that is needed. There's too much money came to this country via our citizenship, our CBI, where people are still struggling. The small businesses, the moms and pop shop, the teachers, the daycares, the preschools. I listen to the people on the street. I have to go into my pocket from time to time on a weekly basis and make a contribution to individuals because I can see that they need it. When people see me sit on a domino table, I don't just sit there playing domino. I am listening to the cry of the people. Prime Minister Joe and his team, they don't do these things. They don't go on the side of the street and sit with people. They don't go on a domino table and hear the complaint and the cry of a country. But people feel comfortable enough to come and speak to me. And I give them that courtesy. Sometimes, believe it or not, a couple of weeks ago, a gentleman said to me, Mr. Mauricio, I want to ask you for a favor. And I do not know if you have it, but I'm down and out. I got to go to work. I don't even have gas in my vehicle. Can you help me with something, even if I have to give it to you back and pay it? I had $120 in my wallet, I took out the 100 and I gave it to the gentleman. And I felt happy that I could have helped that gentleman. But I wish I could help more people. Now, we have a government in office that we put there to help people, you know. And this particular gentleman is a good kid. He always helping out. I see him always doing good things. He always giving. And maybe the reason why he had to come to me and ask for assistance is because he already gave away to somebody else. And this is how the circle go. But our government, with the monies that pass through this country, could be doing better for its people than it's doing. And Prime Minister Joe, we have not spoken in a bit. And we need to speak. You know, the ball is in your court. We need to speak. Because when I look at what is taking place and the people that are around you, these people are around you for your benefit or for the country. These people are about themselves. They're selfish. Because with the beating that you and your administration have been taking over the last couple of weeks, with these people around you, they should have been able to change the dynamics by now. Low-hanging fruits to help the poor people that could move your approval rating upwards instead of downwards. What I'm hearing on the street about people don't want to vote and they will not vote and they will not this, their concerns are valid. You will find some of them who got them out in the trough 20 times, gonna say to the people, oh, you all just want, you all this, you all that. No. There are some people out there that really in need. And I have met some of these people. They are business owners. When I see adults cry because they're about to lose their business, they're about to lose their livelihood, they're about to lose someone that they love. Because keep in mind, you know, no matter how much love you have in your heart, hunger and need is two things that will separate any relationship if you're not in a position to maintain those needs and to put something in people's stomach. I remember a lady from Jamaica said to me one time, Jeffrey, I'm not a bad person. Circumstances make me what I am. At the time, I didn't even take it as serious as I take it today because a lot of people in St. Kitts, Nevis, get blamed for a lot of stuff. And I can say to you, they are good people. Don't look down on people because they're going through a rough spell. Those are the same people later might come to help you. So my good people, I want us to pay attention to what's taking place in our beloved Federation. I saw something there not too long ago from our AG. And I'll give him some credit for it. The AG see it fit, or whoever see it fit to put a team together to try and discuss ways of dealing with the amount of accidents on the road. Nothing wrong with that. I support it. But what is more important to me at the moment is when I speak to Brother Cance Edwards, Family Weekly, most of his daughter, and to find out how they're doing, and to hear their concern and their cry, even as much as today. I felt a certain way, tears come to my eyes, because when this young lady is overseas making calls here to the Ministry of Health, trying to reach the police to get some kind of answers and nobody is responding, it is unbecoming of us as a people. I don't think with what took place in Cance Edwards' situation that his family today, 124 days since he went missing on August 1st, 2024. Mind you, he went missing 124 days ago on August 1st. If I'm wrong with my calculation, correct me. I was a part of the search team. It's been 116 days since he was found dead in a God side up in Sadler's Mountain. You know. He went missing from a nursing home that he was at for over some 4 years, I understand. Right? Over some 4 years. He's supposed to be a dementia patient, from what I understand. They know this. So the home is liable and responsible for this man disappearing, you know. And nobody seems to want to take on this thing serious in St. Kitts Nevis. But this is a serious matter. Very serious matter. It's been 116 days since he was found dead, packed up in a hillside in Sadler's Mountain. I see it for myself. Very gruesome view to see a friend of yours in that condition. So if you all think that I am upset, yes, I am upset. And I'm not even upset at this point for DJ Marisha. I am upset for the family that the Ministry of Health, the acting PS, Mr. Curtis Martin, and whoever else in a position have not taken the time out and follow up with Mr. Edwards' family like they should. Commissioner of Police, Commissioner Sutton, you all have a responsibility to follow up with these people. It's been 104 days since his funeral. His funeral was on the 21st of August. It's more than 12 weeks ago since 3 letters were sent to the Ministry of Health. I delivered 2 of them. The other one went via email. Not a response from the PS or the Ministry of Health. And like I said last week, I hadn't had a chance to speak to the family as yet. But at this point in time, I think the family need to write directly to the Prime Minister and the AG. This matter needs to go into cabinet and into parliament at whatever level, however I get there. If we have to hit the streets, if we have to file externally, whatever it takes, this matter is not going to sleep until we get some justice for Kans. And not just justice for Kans and his family, but these policy and procedures, they need to be enacted across the Federation, not just at this home, at every health institution in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Better must come for our people. DJ Marisha is here speaking to you this evening. He is fluid. He can think for himself. Who to tell you that tomorrow morning DJ Marisha wake up and cannot speak, cannot move, and need care? This is the kind of care I'm going to be looking forward to? No. That is not what I want. That is not what my family would want. That is not what my friends would want. Of late, I have seen many of our young people. 1 minute they're walking, driving bus. The next minute, they got a stroke. They can't help themselves. They are wheelchair bound. I've seen it. Some drop dead. And the situation is that we are not taking things serious because it's not affecting us at the moment. But we got to stop thinking about ourselves. Think about the country as a whole. Think about your brothers and sisters. Somebody asked me yesterday, did I look at the Prime Minister's wife? She did an interview with whoever. I did not even know what to say to them because I am focusing, laser focusing on Prime Minister Joe and his administration and what they're doing for this country. You know. Whatever Dr. Joe's wife is doing is up to Dr. Joe and his wife. If for whatever reason she come into the public square and I can do anything to help or any advice and I'm invited to give advice, then I'll get involved. But from what I know, she's not in the public square and I don't touch people's private business. I'm dealing with the business at Church Street, Basters and Kitts. The people in that down there. Now I'm gonna go across to the waters there and check out my boy, Brother Brantley over there and touch him up, find out what's going on. But this kind of neglect that we are getting from our ministers of government that was elected to take care of us, I have a problem with it. Serious problem with it. And I'm calling on you, the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis. Cut out the transactional thing. Because guess what? It appears as though as long as you all get a couple of dollars in your pocket, to hell with everything else. You know, I listened to a clip there this week, and I want to know if our people are crazy, because in that clip I'm hearing is that the former Prime Minister Harris is saying that people want him back. And in that line, you know, people want him back. Because I have been speaking to a few people on the street, thinking that they're sensible, rightful thinking people. And I would ask the question, you know what we went through in the last 7 years prior to this government, 7.5 years. You all heard this man stand up in a church and say he paid down some $800,000 and the COVID vaccine so that when it becomes available, St. Kitts would not be left behind. St. Kitts Nevis would not be left behind. And it's me who challenge him to let him not cut out the bullshit. Stop lying to the people. We are part of the United Nations. We are considered a third world country. There are things in place for these third world countries to get the vaccine for free. Why are you misleading people? I'm still waiting to find out where that $800,000 went, you know, who get it and where it's at. And Prime Minister Joe and his team need to do a forensic investigation on these funding that came in during that period. Because this vaccine that they were fighting you all down to take, monies came into these countries to help out people back then, you know. That is why you're hearing about the stimulus after stimulus after stimulus. But there are people who I knew here in St. Paul's, work at the Marriott and other areas in Bastille, who up till today have not get a cent out of those stimulus. But according to the Prime Minister at the time, they was giving monies to everybody that need help. The fishermen, the farmers. Remember back then, while the rest of the state had to stay home, they had friends out there doing construction work throughout the whole COVID year. Their friends was given the okay to do construction work while other contractors locked tight. And because they come and want to give me bullshit and I question them, I become the state enemy. Because I am saying to them, when you had an opportunity to do the right thing, you did wrong by the people. So you are now paying the piper. So I'm the bad guy. Mr. Prime Minister, I want you to take a listen to this clip if you're listening. And I put this at your feet. Because if you listen to DJ Marisha and not them bad and borrow people you got around you. You got some bad-minded and borrowing people around you. If you stop taking advice from them people and take your distance 100 yards away, you'll do a better favor, you know. Your favor will come up. But because you got certain bad elements around you, this man is able to come and say these things.
So I want to say thank you for the public who have been asking for me to come back. I will come back stronger and better than before. I will come back with an all-inclusive team drawn across the party divide. Whether you are labor or what's labor is of no importance. What is of importance is that you are joining hands with other patriots in our land to take our country to a better place. Dr. Harris can do that. I manage the most diversified cabinet. And still and until you know what. And it worked well because every one of them said publicly, and we have the tape, Dr. Harris was the best. But the heart of man, you have to leave to the Lord and forgive and move on. And that is why our party is not too concerned about what you were before. Only the present and the future we have to live for. And we want all hands on deck working with us.
So, my good people, as I said, because of the bad actors that Prime Minister Joe has around him, for whatever reason, cannot get rid of them until such time that he removed these bad actors from around him. This gentleman here going to gain the momentum. You all see what happened in America? It can happen in St. Kitts Nevis. As I have said time and time again, not under my watch. I will do everything within my power legally to remind you, the citizens, what we had between 2015 and 2022. But the time is now, Prime Minister Joe. You cannot let 2024 finish on this road that you are. You're on a downward spiral. You have to get rid of some of them around you and try to get yourself back on track. I know you're a good man. I know you mean well. I know I don't make mistakes. And what I saw in you, it's still in you. But you have to gain that strength, that willpower, and understand that whatever the case may be, once you get rid of these evil people from around you, the citizens will rally around you. They will rally around you. Don't make the mistake of Sean Richards, you know. Because in 2020, when I was trying to reach out to Premier Brantley and Sean Richards and tell them, time to cut the rope, let the citizens know the facts that was taking place during COVID, go back to the people, get rid of that one day. They make me out to be the bad guy, you know. The one in Nevis, my good friend Brantley, he come on his platform and say, ignore the noise. Because me have seen a broadcasting from attic, a broadcasting from basement, all kind of word I get from him. Because in his view, the best prime minister ever was Timothy Harris. But a couple months later, what happened to them? Sean Richards stopped talking to me because he did not like me talking the things the way they are. Remember the situation about the last stop with Lindsey Grant and General Powell and Sean and them, and who need to come out of police report and who not going to cabinet and all this kind of stuff. You all forget these things. Well, all those times DJ Marisha was on the ground fighting for this country, fighting for you, the citizens that couldn't fight for yourself. You all remember when they lock up 3 people over there on Keon and Church Street for carrying placard. The placard was not even in the hand, it was on the ground. I understand 1 or 2 of the young ladies that was arrested had young babies. They lie down in those cells over there for a whole weekend because the former prime minister, I understand, to tell them, leave them there. And like that wasn't bad enough. They tear gas the people from the churchyard across the street. There was no kind of unrest in the Federation. Why would you want to go into a churchyard to fire tear gas at your citizens? That is not doing any wrong to you. They're doing what you did. Because the same people that try tear gas at these citizens, they walk around with a placard. They follow the then speaker, Mr. Curtis Martin, Honorable Curtis Martin, when he walked in his kid from school or wherever through town, demonstrating with a placard. They went all the way, I understand, St. Vincent and pay people to carry placard, but people in St. Kitts could not speak up. People even afraid to speak to DJ Marisha. My good friend Sam Kanda and Marcella Liebert, now governor, could not speak to me in public. Families could not speak to me in public because I was the enemy of the state. Why? I started off in Manhattan, New York. at the St. Kitts Nevis mission. I went to look for my good friend Ian Patches Liebert, who hid from me down there. Brother Mikey Gums tell me afterwards, boy Marisha, when you're down there, ask yourself, boy, you demonstrate. Me and Patches someplace having breakfast, Patches now study you. If I'm lying from a Mikey Gums tell me. I haven't heard this one in a while, but my boy there, Wallace Wilkin, with his rock paper, big article. Marisha did demonstration in New York, couldn't pull 12 people. And I used to tell them, don't look at the numbers on the street. Look at the numbers on the line, just like tonight. Don't look at me sitting here by myself. Look at the thousands of people on the line who can follow the message and understand the message. I will continue to understand the message. So when I left Manhattan and I came to St. Kitts, and I applied for a permit to walk with 100 people on the streets of Bastille. They deny me, They deny me the permission to walk. Their reason was, it was COVID, and I could not walk with 100 people on the streets of Bastille. But that same weekend, COVID was not around for them to pack over 100 people in the center over there in Molineux. Not Molineux, in Large Project. That new project over there going on the road by the Grange. The COVID was not in there. And the CMO was there too, All the people who are supposed to be upholding the law. You can't have no more than this amount of people. They was right there enjoying themselves. And I was invited to that event and I went there. And I used my counter and count the people and I challenged them a week later. Well, they already mess up because they allow a domino tournament to take place. So they can't tell me no, I cannot walk on the street anymore. They mess around and wait until the night before the march to come tell me that we have a problem. Eventually, we was allowed to march. And during that march, the only political candidate, hear me again, the only political candidate from the Labour administration that showed up for that march was Dr. Joe. He was coming from a funeral in Cairns, so we ran late. The rest 7 of them, not one of them show up, but they're benefiting today. Some are good people. When you all hear me talking the things then, I'm not cussing Prime Minister Joe because I don't think Prime Minister Joe have a better defender than this man sitting here. None of them. Because I'm going to turn me back at no time. A lot of them that is benefiting today that started off supporting Dr. Joe. When my lawyer friend decided to run in number 8 against Joe, a lot of them dropped their bucket and went to support him, They no longer support Dr. Joe. That they claim they were supporting. But today, Dr. Joe is in office, so they're back in the camp. The issue we have today is the people that had no good to say about Dr. Joe who are benefiting. The foot soldiers, the fighters are getting knocked about, and that I know for a fact. And I talk it loud and play in New York. And one of them fake people try to get sympathy when I say what I say, but they know what I was saying. They know what I was saying. Because they were cussing Dr. Joe to me, telling me them and Dr. Joe go up together. Dr. Joe ain't no good, Dr. Joe this, Dr. Joe that. And they would never support Dr. Joe, never mind a Labour Party. But he became Prime Minister. He came to New York for the UN Assembly. He went to the independent function in the church, and I had them fight to hug up to take picture. And all I said to them was, You see now you fighting to take picture with the Prime Minister that you had no good for. I hope you support him in the next election. That's all I said to them. It become a big problem. Marisha kill somebody. Marisha commit a crime. To just tell them the facts. The man you're fighting to hug up and take picture with, that's the man you cuss me off on social media and in person about. I may not take it back because these are facts. None of them had no good to say about me or Dr. Joe. I lost many of them who I thought was friends. I found out they was not my friend when I had to campaign for Dr. Joe because they came after me with some things and I had to respond to them. Because you all know I'm capable. You all know I'm capable. I see something going around on the SKN or the KN whoop. I try to ignore certain things. But my good people, the person that I am, once something is in the public domain, I like to deal with it head on. I'm not going to run from it like some people. If it's a private matter, I settle it private. But once it's in the public domain, I will deal with it in the public domain. So let's take a quick listen to some of these fake matters here. Because they are claiming that Dr. Joe started some corruption with the CBI. Dr. Joe didn't start no corruption with the CBI. Dr. Joe came in and met the problem and tried to deal with it. And who all is saying that they want him to go jail? I don't want him to go jail. I want him to do the right thing by the people. Get rid of some of them fakers around him and take care of the people's business. You got my support once you are doing that. Until you get rid of some of these fakers around you, you will continue to fail Prime Minister Joe. Because these are the people that are pulling you down. They're dead weight.
If Drew loses his seat and is no longer Prime Minister, Dr. Drew is dead in the water. He has no more immunity or protection, and therefore the US authorities can then issue an arrest for Dr. Terence Michael Drew.
And I expect criticism. That's not a problem. I expect public debate. I don't have a problem issue people discussing these things, but keep it out of the family space.
When Martinez said in his podcast that he had his lawyers and whoever he had to meet with Denzel Douglas, and they talk and they talk and they talk, and he come back to tell us that he is now letting Denzel Douglas off the hook. Well, that they catch me off guard.
Listen to what Mr. Philippe Martinez had to say.
Over the past 10 days, Mr. Bulora, the president of my company, who is a former US government official, went to St. Kitts and Nevis so that with my lawyer in St. Kitts, Mr. Damien Kelsick, could meet Mr. Denzel Douglas, Foreign Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis. They had several meetings with Mr. Douglas and his legal advisors. Those meetings were very, very important. Mr. Bulora is now back in the United States, and he has given me a full report on the content of those meetings. Based on that report, I have decided to instruct my lawyer to release Denzel Douglas from the RICO case. He's out.
We spoke to Mr. Martinez concerning the matter of former Prime Minister Dr. Douglas being removed as a defendant in the RICO case. This was his response. We will be paraphrasing it. It begins, The RICO lawsuit was filed in court to recover financial damages. It is perfectly standard and legal to have a settlement discussion with Dr. Douglas and my US lawyers to recover losses. It is part of the legal process. There was a discussion with Dr. Douglas about a financial settlement. However, I, Martinez, was advised by my US lawyers not to accept any funds from Douglas. Additionally, because Douglas claimed immunity in the civil RICO case, we made the decision to release him from the lawsuit. End of response. Now, Dr. Drew can claim the same immunity in a civil RICO case. Nevertheless, a criminal case is being built as we speak, and a criminal case is a whole different kettle of fish altogether. If Drew loses his seat and is no longer Prime Minister, Dr. Drew is dead in the water. He has no more immunity or protection, and therefore the US authorities can then issue an arrest for Dr. Terence Michael Drew. If our CBI money is not returned to us, the people, KN Whoop, will ensure that Dr. Drew is charged and prosecuted in the US courts.
The gentleman is faced with strong defenses and motions of his various claims. Because of these things, in our estimation, he has become desperate. Subsequently, one of the persons in the videos that he have, and I want you to listen to this, approached the government. And one of the things that was said to me and to the government was if we wanted this to go away, we need to pay 40 to 100 million US dollars in my office.
But this is the nature of the beast we are dealing with. And he's a man, Lord, he could lie. Jew doesn't care what he lies about. The simplest of things, he will tell a lie. If they had an award for that in the Grammy, Terence Drew would have won it hands down, King Liar. That is what he's known for. Look at it now. Even his good friend Martinez come to tell us how lie this man be. And if Martinez said that Dr. Drew lie, Lord, how mercy, he has to be really lie. Understand?
How can a man enter in my office saying to me that I have to take 40 to 100 million dollars out of the government's treasury to settle this case that a fraudster has brought forward, who should not have been in the first place?
Tiffany, I need you to search and present the files to our subscribers. I think it is time KN Whoop addresses Mr. Philippe Martinez's so-called criminal record. In an official document ID with last digits 44B3 from the French Republic Justice Department, Criminal Affairs National Criminal Record, issued on December 6, 2018, lists 0 criminal records for a Philippe Martinez. Therefore, it is incorrect and defamatory to call Mr. Martinez a fraudster. We have provided proof that Martinez is not a fraudster. Martinez has no criminal record. Dr. Drew, where is your proof that Martinez is indeed a fraudster? Prime Minister, we strongly advise that you cease and desist from labeling the good gentleman fraudster. Your criminal attorney general is the fraudster. Here is the real story. A Mr. Cecil Anthony Mike of Valentina Capital approached Mr. Martinez to purchase his SKN-MSR media group of companies for the sum of 15 million US dollars. But Martinez refused, as shown in these WhatsApp messages. If Martinez is such a criminal, why did your government renew MSR media contract on November 13th, 2023? Mr. Felipe Martinez sent a letter to your criminal attorney general, Garth Wilkin, on the 11th of August 2023, warning your administration of the ongoing CBI fraud, and yet he did nothing. You did nothing. Who is the criminal here, Drew? Isn't it clear that you and your Attorney General facilitated the fraud? We put it to you, it is our belief that you, Dr. Drew, and Garth Lucian Wilkin masterminded the entire CBI fraud and scandal. In other words, the Drew administration offered Martinez money to make the RICO lawsuit and its associated fallouts to go away. This is why you should never believe anything Dr. Drew says. Because Martinez turned down his offer, Dr. Drew thought it strategic to accuse Martinez of demanding $40 to $100 million to settle the case.
How can a man enter my office saying to me that I have to take $40 to $100 million out of the government's treasury to settle this case?
And the blight in our country is Dr. Terence Drew. And he will only have one term and a short term.
Where is your proof that Martinez's proxy demanded this sum of money, Dr. Drew? We have our proof of your offer. Where is your proof? Are we to simply take your word? Drew, you are a pathological liar and you are going to prison.
He just went scandalized the development bank to get at one man, Timothy Harris' brother. Shame on you, worthless vagabond that you are.
Mr. Felipe Martinez has confided in us that he fears for his life. The Drew administration is part of a wider money laundering ring that includes other Caribbean nations and governments who will stop at nothing to protect their money, their retirement fund, so to speak. Former Minister G.A. Dwyer Astafan has also sounded the alarm. His life too may be in danger.
And I'm not trying to be melodramatic or self-indulgent. I've been advised to be very careful with my own safety.
It has come to our attention that the Drew administration is on a warpath to seek, find and destroy anyone or entity who becomes an obstacle in their well-oiled criminal enterprise. KN Whoop is being targeted. We have a message for Drew and his cabinet. Bring it on.
Well, my good people, you see, as usual, technology is at work here. That AI developing story there with the KN Whoop. Whatever it is, as I said earlier, you don't listen to everything. Not you don't listen, but you don't believe everything you hear via these media outlets. Think for yourself and let's acknowledge what makes sense. As I said, I am one of the people that has a bit more clarity on the situation at hand. And all I ask the Prime Minister to do, run the country. Ignore the noise out there. Focus on what you need to do. You did not start this mess with this prison project, but you have a responsibility to the people to come clean with them. Whatever it is, let us know. The people will understand that whatever you're doing is in the best interest of the country. Whatever documents that was signed, or you was forced to sign, you say you was set up. I heard you in Parliament say you was set up. Tell the people what you were set up about. Who set you up? Who you think set you up? Let's deal with the issues. Right about now, I'm going to leave it there for this evening. I will be jamming some tracks. A lovely one there coming from the unexpected out of the eliminations there on Sunday evening. Also, the eliminations coming from the big lights. Things ain't going well amongst one or two other tracks. I could call it a night. Again, I look forward to next week where we can continue this conversation. I am trying my best, utmost best, not to divulge any information before the Prime Minister does or before the legal individuals does, because these days the letters them come around and they demanding money to be paid in advance. Say DJ Marisha ain't got the money to pay. So again, my good people, whoever wants to see the rope around Mr. Martinez's neck, Mr. Martinez is not the enemy. He might very well be our savior. Without Mr. Martinez's efforts to get to the bottom of why he ended up on the losing end of his shares, we would not have the information that we have today. So again, unlike one or two of you guys who cannot see the light, who just think about party politics, DJ Marisha, I want to thank Mr. Martinez and his team to continue digging, continue bringing the information. I look forward to getting to the bottom of this matter. And whoever was smart enough, reckless enough to do the damage that was done to our beloved federation, I look forward to see them face whatever justice they got to face, because I know they're not going to face it in this federation. They will have to face it overseas, because in this place, it appears as though criminal activities is all depends on who you are. If you're a poor little black boy from St. Paul's, if you piss on your shoes, you get arrested. But them criminal could, as Donald Trump said, stand up in the middle of 4th Street and take you out, and not a thing will happen to them. So, my good people, I want to thank the individuals that have been supporting this podcast, supporting my initiatives. I want to thank people like Brother Jeff Freights and Sons Enterprise there in the Molyneux area, the Freights Bakery there in the Barrio area, Brother Eustace Warner's One Stop there in the Boardwalk area, Brother Paris, Romeo Paris Pharmacy. Also want to thank Sister Gloria Hutchinson, the Smart Fit, located there on Central Street next to Skelec. Check out Sister Gloria for all your clothing need. Also want to thank Sister Blanchett, Sister Liberd, Sister Pearl, Hazel Claxton, Sister Annette Morton, my boy there, Brother Douglas Shoy, my good friend there, Brother Peter Jenkins Funeral Home, my boy Peter Sadler Funeral Home. You know, these are folks that can take care of your business whenever the time comes that you have to leave us. So remember, support businesses that support you. My friend there, Brother Cabo, is on a roll again tonight. Cabo, I understand the concerns that some people might have. And the problem with us as human beings, most people, you give them the full facts, they're still going to see it different. So I'm not even going to try to get into a debate. But I can say to you, all of you online, for the sake of our federation and the 1 or 2 citizens that was dumb enough to get caught up in this mess, I hope things end well for them. But let's take a quick listen to my boy, The Unexpected. He said, all in one.
You run this country, you know, with a one-seat party. So, all is one. Aye, aye. You better come together Forget about the common labor. Every day I see this damn real soldier, and I can't walk nowhere in town. Everybody coming want me sing a song, but you should see how they running me down. All they are just taking notes. I have so much song, so I come to one conclusion. I'm gonna put them all in one. All in one. It's all in one. It's all in one. It's all in one. When I went up the cemetery, all night till late, he telling me, I want my Timothy. I want my Timothy. Too stingy. I want my Timothy. He take where the 2 pence gave me. We used to get from Unity. And he tell me that the treasury empty. But immediately, he went and raised his salary. That his thing won't bother me. He did it so drastically. He can't come and tell me that he loves this country. No one could come tell me that they love this country. Hear me? All I want, we all are one. We all are one. Forget the labor. If you suffer, I gonna suffer. They all are one, and they all in one. Hit the horn. Hey. Father, guide us. Good partner, tell me, the crazy God Almighty, for rams with a little food outlet, lunchtime, hot lunch he does get. St. Timothy can't give him the $500 a week. You come and take it. He's dead there to suffer. So he said, praise Jaja for rams who giving the hot lunch on the Bay Road. He can't get the half, 500 no more. This is how these people really care for you. One people, one nation. We all are one. We all are one. We are one people, one federation. Forget about this labor and palm. The one people, we all are one. We all are one. We all are one. Whoa. Forget about. From the time they win the election, can't find them nowhere in town. They're flying more than pigeon. Don't know when I see them on the ground. Every minute you hear they're gone down Dubai, where they got the money for the SBI. Next thing they're gonna tell St. Kitts, bye-bye. When they don't, they go to all the oil. One people, I say, one people, same struggle. Petition, I say, you better come together. Forget about the common labor. Petition, I say, to forget about, I say this. We are one people. Facing the same struggle. Lord have mercy on us. I beg of you, come, the other one. Father Jesus, come, Father Jesus, come. He's the only one we can trust. Come, Father Jesus, Father Jesus, come. Say God, you come. Forget those dirty politicians. I beg God, you come. Father Jesus, may the good Lord bless all. Have a good night. I love you.
Yeah, sounds of the man, they're unexpected. So we all are one. But out of my boy, unexpected, we're going to jump straight into my partner. They're coming out of the Green Valley area. And this one is called Things Not Going Well.
You all know me to sing. Hey, so man, I want to hear you, you know. I want to hear you sing this song. Hey. You thought I was joking when I start complaining that things in this country not going well. You ignored my warning, and instead of heeding to the things I said, you gave me hell. But instead of getting better, we deeper in the mire. Now the whole ship going under, and all across the country, the people unhappy, can't eat, can't sleep, and worry about their safety. And they crying, things not going well. I can hear you, things not going well. Let me hear you in the back. Things not going well. Things not going well. And nobody have to tell you that what I say is true, because it ain't only me, Warren Bratcher feeling it too. There's hardly anybody in this land not catching hell, because things not going well. It's easy to tell, things not going well. Guys, sir!
The big lights!
Hey! Hey! They know me, you know. This verse is about the crime. Crime situation in this federation shows things really not going well. The murder rate rising, bodies escalating, and all them people, they catching hell. It is clear that what we're doing simply is not working. Meanwhile, another family's in mourning. While some blame the police for the obvious increase. For me, it's real, without justice there is no peace. And they crying, things not going well. Things not going well. Let me hear you, man, let me hear you. Things not going well. Things not going well. Nobody has to tell you that what I say is true, because it ain't only me, all I you feeling it too. There's hardly anybody in this land not catching hell, because things not going well. It's easy to tell, things not going well. Hey! Man, guys, so the small business, Jack and Maggie, how the business going? In the business sector, things not getting better. Small business owners going through real hell. It's like we're forgetting that they are the engine, and when they strive, the country does well. As we move to get a future where everyone does better, we need a very strong small business sector. There is no other option trying to save this nation but to join hands and work in unison. And they crying, things not going well. Things not going well. I want to hear you. Things not going well. Things not going well. And nobody has to tell you that what I say is true, because it ain't only me. You feeling it too. There's hardly anybody in this land not catching hell, because things not going well. It's easy to tell. Things not going well. Hey!
The big light.
This song, this verse now, for them politicians. The thin skin. I bet none of them know me here. One of them some sing to all the life and can't come to a 10. The 10 skin. Hey, hold on, listen. Hey. Leaders, are you listening to all the complaining that things in this country not going well? The masses are crying, have a hard time coping, while some behaving like their heads swell. Some of your recent behavior lead much to be desired, like trifling with the media. You better take stock quickly and face reality, but don't test, don't mess with our democracy. And they're crying, things not going well. I can't hear you. Things not going well. Not at all. Things not going well. Things not going well. And nobody has to tell you that what I say is true, because it ain't only me. Jack and Marky feeling it too. There's hardly anybody in this land not catching hell, because things not going well. It's easy to tell. Things not going well. Things not going well. What about the Barcy High School? Things not going well. What about the road up Monkey Hill? Things not going well. The people say they want double salary. Things not going well. Oh Lord, the people say they want a fair share. Things not going well. I'm feeling nice. Nice, man. Things not going well. You all know when I come, I always come good. Good night. Thank you very much. Have a nice carnival. Nice one. Things not going well.
Sounds of the man there, the big lie said things not going well. What a good one. I want to touch my folks there down at the Island Purified Water down there, Main Street, Newton Ground, St. Kitts. Want to big up the man, Brother Powell, Mr. Scatter. How are you doing, sir? Thanks for keeping the DJ hydrated when he's in the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. I want to say welcome home to my boy there, the man Ruben Martin. How about Sister Alice and Bernard Clark there? Hope you guys are enjoying the Federation. Good evening, Sister Anelta Robinson. Hope all is well with you. Sister Beverly Marisha, good evening. How are you doing? Sister Cora Bennett, Gwyneth Marisha, my sister there, Esther. Hope all is well. My son, Jeffroy Jr. over there in the LA area. How is Sister Jazz? Hope all is well with you guys. My daughter there, Rachel Marisha, and the grandkids. Hope you guys are doing well. Big Lie said things are not going well, but things are going well on my end. I want to big up my boy there, Brother Ike, one more time out of TNT. My engineer for the last 4 years. Big up to you, Brother Ike. The man Lord Kent about Sister Debbie. I'm not going to get into the shouting out tonight because, I tried to finish on time. We got just about 5 minutes before the 8 o'clock hour. And my unofficial anthem, which is Arise, this country is yours. Let's defend it at the fullest. Will take at least 7 minutes, 22 seconds. So, my good people, touching my boy Benta, how are you doing? Good evening, Brother Dwyer. The man Martinez, stay strong, my brother. Keep the information coming. DJ Marisha is enjoying the information that is coming
your country dying and never lend a helping hand. Would you see your children's future dwindling, creating much disillusion? Or would we watch on idly, disregarding our self-sufficiency? Maladministration reigning on and no. I said no, not at all. Citizens, let's unite and stand up for rights, all our lives and our lives. Let us reintegrate and correct all mistakes. Reunification, building a brand new nation. We'll move on together hand in hand. Rise, citizens, arise. The country is yours. All yours, still yours. Would you assist building a wall so massive or a bridge? Don't care how small, as one tends to divide our people, the other unite us all. Unambitious men just cannot be a part of this community. Displaying selfishness, a total lack of interest. No, I said no, not at all. Citizens, let's unite and stand up for rights, all our lives and our lives. Let us reintegrate and correct all mistakes. Reunification, building a brand new nation. We move on together hand in hand. Rise, citizens, office, being accused of unemployment and crimes, or disrupting a citizen's peace. Oh, my country in this harmony, separated politically. Hatred for a brother cannot love each other. No, I say no, not at all. Citizens, let's unite and stand up for rights, all our lives and our lives. Let us reintegrate and correct our mistakes. Reunification, building a brand new nation. We'll move on together hand in hand. So rise, citizens, arise. The country is yours, all yours, serious.
Yes, that's the sound of the late great King Arrow. So this country is yours, all yours, still yours. Good evening, Sister Lynn, Sister Cora Bennett, our Sister Lauret there in the UK. Thanks for all your comments. My good people, we have come to the close to yet another Wednesday evening here on the DJ Mauritius platform. Look forward to seeing you next Wednesday, same place, same time, as the carnival season kicks into gear here in the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. You know, I would not be coming live unless there's something worth coming for urgently. And for you folks who are commenting that you're not getting my notification, for you folks who are sending me friend requests, I said time and time again, click the follow button, because there's too much hackers out there after my page. So I am not accepting any friend requests at the moment. Once you click the follow button, you will get the notification weekly. So I look forward to seeing you guys next Wednesday, same place, same time. God blessings on everyone. Have a pleasant evening.